You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Newly released body camera footage shows Montgomery County, Maryland police officers handcuffing and screaming at a 5-year-old boy during the January 2020 incident, telling the boy's mother she should beat him. A 51-minute body camera video was released by the Montgomery County Police Department on Friday. Watch.
Come here, buddy. Yeah, we'll be out with him. It's gonna be at 733 Silver Spring Ave. What's going on, man? What are you doing?
Avenue 2, George 14. 733 Silver.
What are you doing? Huh?
I tell you what.
I got you. Listen to me. How old are you? How old are you?
5.
5. You feel like you can make your own decisions? Huh? You feel like you can do what you want? Are you an adult? Are you 18? So why are you outside of school? Look at me. Why are you out of school? Why do you have people following you? Huh? I don't care if you don't want to go to school. You do not have that choice. You understand?
Charlie Adam 3393.
Get back over there. Now. Now. Don't make me take you over there.
Your record of that tech down.
Okay.
All right, can I give you a VIN? No, for a license.
Listen to me. I want you to listen very clear. You don't make any decisions for yourself unless somebody is trying to hurt you. Now, is somebody trying to hurt you?
George Yankee.
You're right.
King 6.
I got it.
385.
Yeah.
8 Robert 2.
No.
You got it right.
3.
Come on.
There is no
Cut it out. Hey, cut it out. Cut it out.
I'm riding with you. We're going back to school.
We were listening like, what?
I don't understand.
I don't know how y'all do it.
I'm still taking it back like this.
You got him?
Hey, you also had a license warning check.
What in the world?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Trying to hide behind the car.
Ready.
I don't too.
Is it what I behind?
That's him.
David Edwards Lincoln.
Get in.
Nancy Time Edwards.
Now. I'm not asking. Get in the car.
I'm going with you. Let's go.
Oh, we're going to have problems. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't want to hear it. I still don't want to hear it. You better stop. You better stop. You better cut that off.
Yeah. What's up? What's going on? Huh? Why you not listening? Huh?
What Miss said is asked for a snack, and she said, "Sit down, and I'll give it to you." And he started attacking her, and then he went.
So that's
over
how
to
we
a
deal with
friend.
adults?
He took a
Huh?
friend from the back of the head and shoved
So-
her down.
So what mommy gonna do?
He took a clipboard and attacked
What
another
mommy gonna
student
do?
with it.
Huh? So now, what's going on?
He walks out of the school
You left
regularly.
out of the school? You grown?
He told him, yeah.
You an adult? You want somebody to take you? Huh? Yes or no? Open your mouth.
332 around time.
What I keep telling you, stop playing retarded for free. I don't get a check. Right? Yes or no? So why you can't listen? I work hourly. If I don't work, I don't eat. If I don't eat, you don't eat. Remember mommy tell you that? You think I got time to keep coming here for this?
No.
How many times I gotta talk to you? You want me to keep beating your ass?
You want her to let me do it?
You want the police officer to take you?
You know why?
I
She's
don't
asking
like
you that?
bad children. Bad, disrespectful children. I think they need to be beaten.
And you know
that's
what
what I
happened?
told your mama.
When you get older, when you want to make your own decisions, you know what's gonna be your best friend? These right here. You know what these are? These are handcuffs. You know what
wanna
they're
go
for?
where Uncle Berto at?
Huh?
Huh?
You know what these are for? These are for people that don't want to listen and don't know how to act.
You wanna go where Uncle Berto
That's
at?
what that is.
Where Uncle Berto at?
They put you at like that, and then now you can't move, you can't free, you can't go anywhere. You do what we tell you to do. Is that how you want to live your life? Huh? So how are we gonna fix that? If somebody tells you to sit down and shut up, any adult, you better sit down and shut up.
Talk to him. Let me
Now,
tell you why. His father
if your
is very
teachers tell you
strict,
to do something,
so you know they strict.
you better listen.
Joining me now is Montgomery County, Maryland Councilman Will Jawando. He's been asking for the video since the incident, and he joins us right now. So, Will, your reaction to this?
I mean, it doesn't get easier watching it. You know, I've seen it many times, and it's never easy. It's disgusting. I mean, and there's actually gets worse as you go along. At one point, the officer screams within an inch of this young boy's face, 5-year-old boy, just screaming in his face. No one's wearing a mask. We're in the middle of COVID. I mean, the teachers don't intervene. The mother obviously is not handling the situation the way we'd like to see a parent handle it. But, you know, my focus has been on the government responsibility, people who wear the Montgomery County seal on their arm, treating a young boy like this, who is clearly in distress. No adult in this situation was looking out for this young boy and intervening and showing him love. He's 5 years old. He's 5 years old. And it's disgusting. It's horrific. And, you know, I've called on these officers to be fired. I've called for a full investigation of these administrators and the school staff that watch this happen. Police are not supposed to be involved in any way in school discipline. The fact that this went on for an hour, nearly an hour, and was allowed to, is clearly a violation of policy, but it's just morally wrong as well. And so it's just very disappointing and just shows the criminalization and the robbing of the childhood of particularly black youth.
Any idea how he just gets to walk out of school?
Well, that's another point. What's going on with the security and the doors in the classroom? That is one of the things I've called for. What's the full investigation? Now, you do have kids, you know, that try to wander out of classroom. That happens, but there should be someone there in multiple systems and redundancies to catch that before a child gets out of the school and down the street like that. So that's an issue as well.
And so you're calling for the officers to be fired, but if you listen to the mother there, sounds to me like she's right there along with the cops and not particularly happy with her son disobeying adults.
Yeah, well, look, my job is I can't parent. You know, I'm a father of 4. That's not my job. My job is to people who are supposed to be protecting and serving and caring for children. My job is to oversee our police department, our budget, our laws, and how we conduct our business. And that was not appropriate. I don't personally agree with some of the things that the mother said, but here's what we also know, Roland. You know, I know we're on Unfiltered here. We also know the complicated and tortured history that people of color have with police. And if you just go back to why there's some theory and there's a lot of literature written on why black folks have used corporal punishment as a way to do it at home so that it doesn't happen at the hands of the state. And you know, if you watch this thing, at one point the officer says, "I don't beat him because I don't want to go to jail." And the officer says, "You can beat your child. You don't have to go to jail." She gives her the wrong advice, tells her she can break the law and physically abuse her child. So I think it's a lot more complicated than any one of those scenes shows. But certainly, you know, look, as I said, there's no adult in this situation that did the right thing for that child. Not one adult.
And where does the case stand right now?
So there is a lawsuit that's been filed by the mother that's proceeding. I have asked, and my colleagues, we've asked for full investigation from both the school side and the police department. One of the most troubling things about this is that it happened in January of 2020, so over a year ago, and we didn't find out about it until the lawsuit was filed in January of 2021. That's when I started requesting the tape for the last 3.5 months.
And the lawsuit is filed by who? Filed the lawsuit against whom?
The mother filed a lawsuit against the county and the police department and the school system.
For what?
And that's the only reason I found out about it.
Hold on. The mom filed a lawsuit against the county for what?
For false imprisonment, endangering the child. I forget what the other things. It's a few things.
I'm confused. Wasn't the mama standing right there?
For about half of it. The first half, she wasn't there. You know, you cut to it. So for about the first 20, 25 minutes, she was not there. She was called to be there. So the initial outside and bringing him into the school and all that happened before she got there. So I'm not here to speak on the validity.
No. I mean, I just want to be clear because I'm going. I mean, if you listen to that, I mean, when the cop puts the cuffs on her, she's like, "No, do you want to go where Uncle Bert is?" I mean, it sounds to me like she's a participant in the conversation. I was just trying to understand that. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I understand that, but she doesn't. Even if she was saying cuff this 5-year-old child, that our police officers shouldn't be doing it. So it's not excusable because someone doesn't understand the law and is telling. That's not how we should conduct ourselves. And again, like I said, if you keep letting that tape go, our officer is literally screaming in the child's face, less than an inch from his face, in response to his crying, and telling the mother that she can beat him, that we want you to beat your child, things like that, which are just not true. So I think, look, none of this situation is pretty. I said every adult in this situation failed this child, but certainly from him being able to get out of the school building, from the police being able to treat him that way when he's clearly in distress. You know, I'm the father of an autistic child. You know, I don't know this child's history, but I can tell you that a lot of this symptoms that he's displaying, I'd be curious if he's been assessed. And you just don't treat children that way. And so I think that's the issue. And, you know, the fact that we found out about it so late, you know, this has made its way around the world now. And I think most people are outraged by it, by everyone's actions in that video, the administrators, the police officers. And certainly I understand people taking issue with some of the things that the mother said. But let's think about who has the position of power here, who's holding the gun and the badge and the handcuffs. I think that's an important point as well.
All right. Will Jawando, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Roland.
Teresa, what do you make of this? Your thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think one, it's a bit of a disgrace that we decide to hold a lesson with a 5-year-old, and but even before we got to the 5-year-old being in handcuffs, the conversation of him getting in back of a police car. And honestly, you know, when they moved the young child into the school system and you heard all the unfortunate animosity and, you know, saying big terms like the 5-year-old knows what the definition of grown or being an adult really means, was talking to him like they were almost trying to do an intervention. But you also kind of see where the young child's home life is, because his mother wasn't stepping in and being a parent. But I also think that is amongst many issues of, you know, her own personal trials and errors. It's so unfortunate. It hurts my heart. And I think, you know, it wasn't a lesson, you know, that was able to be captured on body cam by police officers. It was more so a lesson of really, I would almost say mental health, because I think everybody in that room has something going on mentally that they didn't understand the ramifications of what they were doing to this child, that they all actually need to have a psychological evaluation, because that child is now traumatized. And I don't think the lesson was really learned, because part of it is he has to understand the terms. So better parenting and better evaluation of the circumstances should have not only taken place when he first was encountered from the police officer, but it should have came to the school administration, which it wasn't there. It should also became to the security system of why this child was able to go out into the streets. We don't know if somebody even opened the door and allowed that child to be out, because there's no cameras there. So we don't know, and we all know children do not tell us the full truth, or they don't feel comfortable or feel safe. So I think a lot of factors happen, and of course, running down to the parenting of the situation of the matter, it did not help the situation, and this child is going to have some serious mental health issues that if this happens when he becomes a teenager, we can't expect, wow, we didn't know. They should expect, wow, you guys did this. You didn't show me love. You didn't give me the attention that was due, but you treated me like the criminal you already thought I was.
Andrew.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know this is a traumatic experience, but it's, to me, a case in point of the over-policing of Black and brown youth. And to speak to a child that way who's 5 years old, I wonder if they speak to adults and grown people that way. In a school setting, which is supposed to be about learning in a safe environment and safe space. I have to agree with your previous guest. Like, this child's going to have some serious challenges and trauma as a result of this. I mean, if you've been arrested at 5 years old or had cuffs put on you in a way that doesn't even make sense, I mean, this whole situation is just awful. But I think it's indicative that, this is happening. I've worked in schools. I know many of you have worked in schools, public schools, charter schools, and this happens every single day, where school resource officers or police officers are heavy-handed or respond in a way to a child that's inappropriate, or go too far thinking that they're imparting a lesson, but they're really just traumatizing that child.
Julian.
Our children are never treated like children. We've seen little girls being handcuffed. We've seen teenage girls being pulled by their braids. But this just made my blood run cold. This child, of course, has been traumatized to have handcuffs put on him. But more than that, I mean, Teresa made a really good point. Everybody in that room probably needs some intervention. Not the child, but everybody else, that principal, that police officer. But the child, I think, actually does need to be evaluated. I mean, he may have some. Will Jawando made a point. When I first heard him howling, I said, is something wrong here? And that should have been the first question the police officer asked, not the tough love, get in my face. Do you want to, I mean, that's awful. This is why so many people have talked about defunding the police. Imagine a different outcome if a social worker had been on the scene and said some things, both to the mother, who may be totally stressed. I picked up on her comment, I work hourly so I can eat. If I don't eat, you can't eat. So this woman may be under some significant economic distress. And this is what happens with a lot of low-income women. You can't take the hour off to go to school, because then you're going to be docked. Usually something around $10 an hour, which we know people really can't live off. And we don't know the rest of her circumstances. Does she have a partner? Are there other children? But we do know that this woman is clearly under some stress and is clearly very vulnerable. Not as vulnerable as her child, but very, very vulnerable. But I just find this, I don't even have a word for it, Roland, because, I don't cuss that much on the air. But it's repugnant. It's repulsive. It's the kind of thing that you would want your own child to go through. And so I thank you, Will Jawando, for making that public. Shame on the Montgomery Police Department for holding that body cam stuff for so long. This happened more than a year ago. So shame on them for that. And then, of course, the question about the masks. In the boy's face, and nobody has a mask on, and we know what time it is in terms of COVID. They've endangered this child mentally, but also physically. And the thing about it is, this is awful. We know it's awful, but we know it also happens almost every day in some school somewhere in this country.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.